Natasha,
Debbie,
show.
the show.
Welcome to it. Just two patriotic girls.
Learning about the world.
So please, don't take us the wrong way. Hi. Welcome to YouTube. And welcome to a channel on YouTube. This channel is called The Natasha, that's me, and
Debbie show. And this is the show.
yeah. I don't know why I did that. Just did. We're here today, and we're really excited about today's episode because it's going to be a fun one, I think, with a lot of information.
It should be. And the only way we'll know that you're here is if you hit that like button and also consider subscribing. It's absolutely free.
Ah, crap. I was trying to get that in there, but so today's episode was something I saw pop up. It's only been up for a month. Probably about a month ago. Imagine that. And I thought it would be really fun to check out. So we talked with Robert. This is, please guys, we ask you this a lot. And you guys are really great to do this too. We really appreciate it. But in the description of our video, you'll find the link to his channel. And it's from Rob's, can I see? I can't. Rob's London. His channel's great. He's got so many cool videos. And I'll tell you this, he's such a nice guy. He literally said, I'm honored to be on your show. And I'm like, I'm honored for you. No, I'm honored. So please subscribe to his channel. You'll find, again, that link in the description of our video. So what are we learning today?
We are going to learn about 20 famous words and phrases born in London.
Or birthed in London, depending on how you want to say it.
I don't like the birthed.
You're the one that says birth more often.
It's just such an action. I'm not into that.
So I'm sure there's a lot more than 20, right? But at the same time, I don't know what these are. Or will I? And then I think we're going to get some information as to how and what.
How they came about?
Yeah. So
awesome.
I'm really excited about this. And if you are too, like Debbie said, hit the like button. So without any further ado, this is actually a short intro for us if you're new to our channel. This is short. So now we're going to check out these 20 famous words and phrases birthed or born in London. Why are we doing that?
No, the bell.
Just the bell. It's raining in London.
And
Surprise.
thanks for stopping by. Over the centuries, many notable words and phrases have evolved in London.
Pretty, not raining.
While Cockney rhyming slang, which I've covered in an earlier video, is probably the most famous link between London and language, the city has also given us plenty of other everyday sayings. Everything from bold as brass to tabloid, spend a penny, and much, much more.
I know what that means.
In this
Bathroom.
video then,
Toilet.
I'd like to share a collection of such terms and the story of how they came to be with you.
Shakespeare gave us a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not really London, though.
If you're anticipating what I'm about to say, it could be said that you're on tenterhooks.
Okay, so we're probably not going to know a lot of these, but we're going to learn a lot of them today. This is something I just found out just now.
That's what we're here for, is to learn.
On tenterhooks. What is a tenterhook?
The origin of this expression can be glimpsed in Spitalfields, on a street called Tenter Ground. You see, a tenter is a wooden frame fitted with hooks, which were used to stretch out newly woven cloth. And many centuries ago, you would have seen such tenters lined up here, as depicted on this map, dating from 1676. When fabric was stretched along tenters, it was made taut and tense, hence the saying, on tenterhooks.
We don't have that saying in America.
No.
An early version of the phrase was recorded in 1633 by the dramatist John Ford, once a member of the Middle Temple, who, in his poem Broken Heart, lamented, "My very heartstrings are on the tenters."
Aww.
As we've just seen, London's Tenter Ground was located in Spitalfields. You'll no doubt be glad to hear that spittle has nothing to do with the disgusting practice of spitting.
Thank goodness.
Instead, it shortens from the word hospital, as a hospital was indeed once based in this area.
Okay.
Now that's
This hospital was St Mary Bethlehem, which was founded in the year 1247 as an institution for the insane. And if
Oh.
you head down this flight of stairs, tucked away on Bishop
I bet that's where my ancestors come from.
Stop.
1739. Yeah, they were already here by then.
Yeah.
They probably already busted out of that place.
Jumped on a boat and came to America.
Trying to find out my roots there.
institution for the insane. And if you head down this flight of
Oh,
stairs,
no, look. It's been there since 12. Hold on, how long?
as an institution for the insane.
1247.
We found out my ancestors' location. But that was beautiful. That was a beautiful hospital. I've never heard of it.
Hmm.
Huh. That's 1247. My lord.
And if you head down this flight of stairs, tucked away on Bishop Square in Spitalfields, you'll find the preserved remains of a charnel house, a place used to
Whoa.
store bones, which once stood within the grounds of the hospital cemetery.
That's cool.
Okay.
One that's cool.
Over time, just as Londoners cut the word hospital down to Spittle, so too was the name of St Mary Bethlehem shortened, gradually evolving into Bethlem and then Bedlam.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
As I'm sure you're aware, those with mental health issues were treated appallingly in centuries past, meaning Bedlam Hospital would have been a place racked by turmoil, hence the
Yeah.
word Bedlam becoming shorthand for anything noisy or chaotic. St Mary
Interesting.
Bethlehem still exists today. It's now based in Bromley.
Hmm.
Prior to that, it stood at several other locations, as marked by these two plaques, one on Liverpool Street, the other on London Wall. And for much of the 19th and early 20th century, it was also housed within this building in Lambeth, which is now the Imperial War Museum.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Okay, I didn't know that. We've heard of
Many
it.
expressions related to crime and punishment have evolved in London. An old term for a prison, for example, is a clink. The
I've heard of
original
that.
clink
Yeah, we have
stood
that.
here in Southwark
Sort of.
between the 12th and 18th centuries, its name most likely being evoked by the sound of slamming doors.
I want to look at the Clink Museum.
Yeah, we definitely need to look at that. We gotta
Yeah,
find
we
a video
do.
on that one.
And 18th centuries, its name most likely being evoked by the sound of slamming doors and rattling jailers' keys.
That
Although
just
it
makes
could
sense.
also have emerged from the word clinch, meaning to fasten or secure.
Hmm.
If you were unlucky enough to be caught
That's not
committing
real.
That's
even a
scary.
trivial crime in London between 1196 and 1783, you risked the terrible fate of being executed at the Tyburn Tree, which stood beside present-day Marble Arch.
Lovely.
The Tyburn Tree wasn't really a tree at all. It was man-made, a large three-legged structure capable of hanging many people at a time before huge crowds of eager spectators.
That still just fascinates me that, the town would gather.
I was
for
just
hangings.
thinking that. I think it's disturbing as
Yeah,
hell.
it's not something-
Let's go watch little Timmy. Let's go. I don't know why little
I
Timmy.
know.
Hey, little Timmy and little Susie. Why is it always those names? Let's go watch.
Yeah, let's go to the hanging.
Let's go watch the neighbor down the street get killed
Yeah,
in a very brutal, disgusting way.
yeah. That's not something that I would.
Family day out.
Yeah.
One of the most noted executioners who oversaw the Tyburn Tree was a fellow named Thomas Derrick, who practiced his grim craft here during the Elizabethan era.
Practiced it.
It's estimated he sent some 3,000 people to their deaths.
Dude, serial killer.
As
I'm just kidding.
such, his surname, Derrick, became a byword for hanging, which in turn has morphed
Derricks.
into a far different use.
Right?
In modern parlance, a derrick is a type of industrial lifting device, and such equipment
Oil
does
derrick.
indeed bear a chilling resemblance to a gallows.
Ah.
It does. That's fascinating.
Perhaps the most celebrated criminal to be executed at Tyburn was 22-year-old Jack Sheppard, who met his end here in 1724.
Do we know that name? I don't think so.
Roguish
Very
and
cool.
good-looking, Jack was a thief who managed to escape from prison, including the infamous Newgate, on no less than 4 separate occasions.
Jeez, Jack.
His cheeky escapades earned him hero status, and it's from him that we get the moniker Jack the Lad, which is used to refer to a brash young man.
Was he a child? He looks young.
During his
22
short
or something.
criminal
Is that what
career, Jack the Lad, Shepherd's arch nemesis, was Jonathan Wild, the so-called thief-taker general. Thief-takers in those days essentially being bounty hunters who were paid to apprehend
Oh.
crooks.
Okay.
Despite his title, however, Wild, who based himself in the Covent Garden area, was an odious individual, a violent thug who was corrupt to the core and exploited his position to run a criminal empire, so much so that he could, arguably, be described as London's first true crime boss.
Oh.
Jonathan Wild employed a network of criminals to do his bidding, largely theft, and whenever he became displeased or distrustful of one of his minions, he'd secretly mark a cross beside their name. Once one of these unfortunates had racked up 2 crosses, that was when Wild turned them in to the authorities, pocketing the fee and, in many cases, condemning them to the gallows.
Dang.
It's said that Wild's system of marking 2 crosses beside someone's name is where the phrase double-crossed originated from.
Stop it.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
That is very interesting.
That makes sense.
Cross them once, but don't
I
cross
knew-
them twice.
Right? I wouldn't cross them once personally, but
No.
huh.
I would hope to not be in cahoots with him to begin with.
Cahoots.
I know, cahoots.
I hate that word. Double crossed. I knew we were going somewhere with that. I didn't know where. So I was following along very closely. He was just going to say something else about that,
Someone's
though.
name is where the phrase double-crossed originated from. And considering his treachery, it's certainly karma that the self-styled thief-taker general was himself eventually arrested and executed.
Ah, that's what you get, buddy.
For many centuries, thief-takers, such as Jonathan Wild, along with a haphazard collection of night watchmen, were all the city had in terms of maintaining law and order. A small group of enforcers, dubbed the Bow Street Runners, were formed in 1749, but
If I saw them, I'd be scared to death. They just look like
Mhm.
some badasses, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until 1829 that the city's first true police force, the
really?
Metropolitan Police, were established.
Really?
The
Wow.
Met,
Wow.
as they're now commonly known, were founded by the politician Sir Robert Peel. And so, with Bob being a variation of Robert, this is why police officers are sometimes known as Bobbies, as
We
in
don't
Bobby
have
on the
that here.
beat.
Never heard that.
Interesting.
Sir Robert
Bobby on
Peel's
the
name
beat.
also gave rise to the nickname Peelers to describe the police, although this
Huh.
isn't used so much nowadays.
Oh, okay. But is Bobby on
Yeah,
the
I've
beat?
heard
Or
that.
Bobby? Is that
They're
used?
bobbies.
Although he was born in
Yeah?
Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564
That's my man.
and died there in 1616, William Shakespeare, the world's greatest playwright, lived and worked in London for many years, penning some of his greatest works here.
That's true.
You can see several blue plaques marking places where Shakespeare is known to have resided, such as here on Noble Street near London Wall, and
Cool,
at this
I wanna see that.
location on St Andrew's Hill at Blackfriars. Plus, of course, there was his famous Globe Theatre, which was originally located in Shoreditch, approximately here, on a spot now covered by a derelict car park.
Yeah, that stinks.
It's for this reason that you can now see a statue of the bard, along with a mural featuring Romeo and Juliet, on nearby
pretty.
New Inn Yard. Plus, the name Curtain Road is a reference to the old venue, as in Theatre Curtain.
Mhm.
In 1598, the Wooden Globe Theatre was dismantled and rebuilt in Southwark, at this spot off of Park Street, and the wonderful, fully working replica, unveiled in 1997, can be seen just around the corner.
Okay, neat.
In his
I'm good with that.
plays, which were often written and premiered in London, Shakespeare coined countless phrases, many of which are still widely used today, often without people even realising they're quoting his work. Just a few examples include, "We have seen better days," and "Too much of a good thing," both of which appear in As You Like It. "I have not slept one wink," which features in Cymbeline,
Say that all the time.
You do.
"Cruel to be kind," and "In My Heart of Hearts," both from Hamlet. And "The world is my oyster," which is spoken by the character Pistol in The Merry Wives of Windsor. You may well have studied Shakespeare to some extent at school, along
yeah.
with the so-called 3 R's, reading, writing and arithmetic, which is a rather daft phrase when you think of it, as only one of those words
Oh,
actually
wait.
begins with R. The term 3 R's was conjured up by Sir William Curtis, who served as the Lord Mayor of London between 1795 and 1796.
Well, that's beautiful.
That has.
Sir William was known for hosting lavish banquets, and on one such occasion, he raised a toast to education, blessing what he deemed the 3 R's,
Was he drunk?
reading, writing, and arithmetic.
He was drunk.
Must have been.
Despite people thinking at the time that this was a bit silly, and leading some to question the mayor's own level of education, it didn't stop the phrase from entering popular use.
We don't have that phrase here.
No, not so much.
Another of London's Lord Mayors, in this case a fellow named Brass Crosby, who was elected in 1770,
That's a cool
Good
name.
lord. He looks like a young George Washington, doesn't he?
Kind of. His face is a bit wider. I like the name Brass.
Brass.
Our first name. That's kind of cool.
You know what a good last name that would be, all right?
A donkey?
No, that's not what I was going with.
No.
That.
What were
No.
you going with?
I can't now. Oh, bollocks. The American version of that, though. Brass.
Mm,
Moving on.
I was going with the
What's
donkey.
going on with brass here?
Mayors, in this case a fellow named Brass Crosby, who was elected in 1770, blessed us with the saying, as bold as brass, used to describe a person who is confident to the point of impudence.
It's you.
This
Ah.
comes from the fact that Brass Crosby defied the government by encouraging printers to publish the details of parliamentary debates, something which was a strict no-no at the time.
Yeah, I bet.
For going against the government's wishes, Brass Crosby was thrown in the Tower of London, although he was soon released.
Okay, I wonder. Okay, again, the term I was joking about. Brass balls.
Uh-huh.
Does that come from this guy, too?
Maybe it does.
I think it does.
Probably.
I think it does. Do you know? Do you guys even say that over there, or is that just us?
Let us know in the comments.
Following a public outcry. Thanks to Crosby's bold as brass bravery, it was agreed to make the record of what goes on in Parliament public, just as it continues to do so today.
Good for him.
The obelisk at St George's Circus, between Waterloo and Elephant Castle, was erected in Brass Crosby's honour. You can see his name engraved on its base, and the former Lord Mayor is also commemorated with a blue plaque at Chelsfield in southeast London. Staying with things in print, a style of newspaper which has been popular for many decades is the tabloid, which was developed as an alternative to the larger, more serious broadsheets.
I didn't know that came from London.
Surprisingly, the word tabloid has its roots in the pharmaceutical industry.
What?
It was created in the 1880s by the firm Burroughs Wellcome & Co., who were based on Snow Hill near Smithfield, in order to describe a type of small, compressed pill which they'd concocted.
Really?
The term was then adopted by Alfred Harmsworth, aka Lord Northcliffe, who worked on nearby Fleet Street, and who would later go on to found the Daily Mail, as a means of promoting a new form of journalism he was toying with. The idea of making newspapers smaller and snappier. The tabloid press.
Interesting. I did not know that. Oh, that's one of the best
which has
phrases.
cropped up everywhere in
Definitely.
recent times, often
Is
on
that the
mugs
war?
and tea towels, and sometimes with the words tweaked, is
Yeah.
keep calm and carry on. This expression first appeared in 1939, having been dreamt up by the Ministry of Information, essentially a propaganda department, who are based within the imposing Senate House, which is part of the University of London.
Oh, really?
Rather ominously, it was this very building which George Orwell had in mind when he created the Ministry of Truth for his dystopian novel 1984.
Ah,
It's here
stop
that
it.
the main protagonist, Winston Smith, works, diligently destroying and rewriting old articles in order to fit Big Brother's ever-changing and
That's
conflictive
interesting.
narrative.
Mhm.
Hmm.
As it transpired, the keep calm and carry on slogan never caught on, for it wasn't until a year after its creation that British towns and cities were directly targeted in air raids.
Yeah.
By that point, most of the posters had been stashed away, and it was not until the year 2000 that a stack of them were unearthed at a bookshop
Really?
in Northumberland, a discovery which sparked the current popularity of the term.
Hold on though. I was in high
Yeah.
school in the 90s, right? And that phrase was still,
You remember from the 90s?
yes,
I don't. I remember it more recently, but
I think.
who knows if I was paying attention.
Maybe I don't. I probably don't. I don't know. I thought I did. I don't. That's crazy if it's only been the last 25 years.
Yeah, it seems so natural. But
Keep calm and carry on.
it's interesting that
Huh.
it didn't really catch on until the 2000s.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's one of the coolest phrases.
Even though it was
Yeah.
thought up a long time ago.
Huh.
Opposite the western side of Senate House is a road called Keppel Street, where you can see
Keppel
a
Street.
building with many of its windows bricked up. And
Top of
there are
that.
many more examples of this across both London and the rest of the UK.
War stuff?
This bricking up was a result of the window tax, which was enforced in the late 17th to mid-19th century.
You know, window tax?
As the name suggests, the window tax granted authorities the power to tax properties based on the number of windows they had, which
Really?
led landlords to brick up windows in order to avoid a charge.
What?
Wow.
It was this rather unfair duty which gave rise to the saying, daylight's robbery. Thankfully,
Really?
we no longer have to pay for the rights to enjoy natural daylight in this country.
Yeah.
I'm glad, you know.
Although there are
exactly.
occasions when you have to cough up to use a public lavatory.
Spend a
And
penny.
when you do, you may well declare that you're off to spend a penny.
Y'all taught us that.
The spend a penny euphemism came about thanks to the Great Exhibition, which was held within the purpose-built Crystal Palace in Hyde Park in 1851.
That place is stunning.
The lavatories within this vast glass complex cost 1 penny to use, and considering some 6 million visitors,
Sorry.
6 million.
I'm just looking at this place. I can't hear anything right now. Look at that. That is insanely opulent,
It is definitely.
over the top, incredible. Like, good lord. Obviously, I'm assuming that it's not there no more. Because if it was, we
I think
would
we
have
would've
seen
seen
that.
it already.
The world would know that was
Yeah.
still there. Oh, that is stunning.
I'm still distracted by the penny for the bathroom. 6 million visitors. I'm trying to math in my head
Toilet.
real quick. Like,
Yeah, I'm your wine. That. Sorry. I was too busy staring at that. That place was absolutely stunning.
in 1851. The lavatories within this vast glass complex
Lavatory.
cost 1 penny to use, and considering some 6 million visitors attended the 5.5-month-long event, it's not surprising that's the phrase, to spend a penny, caught on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Something else related to money is the concept of tipping. It's said that's the word tip in relation to giving waiters, cab drivers, bar staff and so on a bit of extra cash, originated during the 17th and 18th century heyday of London's coffee houses. Apparently, such establishments would keep a small box on the main counter, which was labelled to ensure prompt service, the acronym being TIPS, tips. Although I'm sure many of you are getting ready right now to suggest alternative origins of the phrase in the comments.
But you guys don't really do that. That's more of an American thing.
mhm.
So you started it, then you stopped, and we kept it up.
That's pretty fascinating.
If we're talking about coffee, we may as well throw in sandwiches too.
Please do. I'm hungry.
The term sandwich, in relation to bread with a filling, takes its name from John Montagu,
The Earl of
fourth
Sandwich.
Earl of Sandwich, Sandwich being a town in Kent, who lived between 1718 and 1792.
I knew that.
The
I did
Earl was
actually.
a heavy gambler and would spend many hours playing cards at his club, the Cocoa Tree, which in those days was located in St James's at 46 Pall Mall. When involved in a game, the Earl didn't like to be drawn away from the card table, and so would have his valet bring food directly to him whilst he concentrated on decks and wagers, his favourite and most convenient snack being roast beef with toasted bread.
Okay. Interesting.
It's also been suggested that, as John Montagu was also the first Lord of the Admiralty, he was often exceptionally busy at work, and so would have what we'd now call a sandwich brought to him at his desk within Whitehall's Admiralty building.
What'd they call it before that?
I know. That's what I'm
Another
wondering.
sport which noblemen liked to gamble on was bare-knuckle boxing.
That was funny. Did you see how Natasha and Debbie were in sync when they leaned back in their chairs? And by the way, is that guy butt naked? Anyway, we definitely need to see that again, but this time in slow motion.
I'm sorry. Does he have shorts on?
I know,
pants
I was
on?
sitting there
Am I
looking
looking
like-
at a bare ass?
Did I say butt cheeks or what?
Yeah.
Uh,
Bold as brass, that guy is.
And-
See what I did there? See what I did there? Did you say butt cheeks?
yeah. No, I'm like,
Cheeky.
yeah, very cheeky.
Cheeky.
Sorry to the guy that commented last week and said, "Could you please cough away from your microphone?"
Sorry.
He said he was watching the coughing show. I'm like,
Oh.
sorry, it's spring.
Yep, it's allergy time.
Sorry, sir.
Another sport which noblemen liked to gamble on was bare-knuckle boxing.
Bare
In
Bare butt
1838,
boxing.
some years before the Marquis of Queensberry rules were introduced, a series of guidelines for bare-knuckle fighting were drawn up. Known as the London Prize Ring Rules, These included one specific regulation referring to what was called the scratch line, a mark drawn along the centre of the ring. The London prize ring rules stated that, if a fighter was knocked down, he was to be granted 30 seconds in his corner to recover, followed by a further 8 seconds to return
Where's
to the
this
scratch
going?
line. Failure to return to the centre would mean the fight was over. And as I'm sure you've already guessed, this is where the phrase, not up to scratch,
We don't
meaning
have that
something
phrase.
unsatisfactory, was born.
I know it now. I'm starting
Another
using these
concept
phrases.
used to judge
Now
something,
bring them all back.
in this case the purity of precious metals, is a hallmark. The process of stamping metal in this manner was first developed by the Goldsmiths Company in the 1470s at their assay office, located
1470s,
within
huh?
their grand livery hall on the corner of Foster Lane and Gresham Street, hence the term hallmark.
Did not know that.
Hmm.
I did not know that.
Since the 1300s, the symbol of the Goldsmiths assay office, and consequently the earliest example of a hallmark, has been a leopard's head, which is
Oh, a
why you can
panther.
see 3 of them surrounding the entrance to Goldsmiths Garden,
That's neat.
located opposite
is
the
neat.
livery hall.
That's really neat.
Another
I need
place
that.
you'll find a leopard is at the zoo, and it was London Zoo which was the first such establishment to popularise that term.
Really? The zoo?
The word zoo derives from ancient Greek, and when London Zoo opened in Regent's Park in 1828, it was officially known as the Zoological Gardens, a name which, like hospital and Bedlam, which we encountered
just
earlier,
shortened.
was eventually
Mhm.
shortened to zoo.
Well, I did not know this.
Yep.
This is a fascinating video.
Prior
Really
to
is.
That's
setting up in
zoological
Regent's
garden.
Park, London's collection of live animals had, for many centuries, been kept at the Tower of London, where it was known as the Royal Menagerie. It's for this reason that a collection of lion sculptures are now displayed near the tower's main entrance.
I don't remember learning that, but maybe we
Just
did.
across from the Tower of London Lions sits this small brick structure, which in the 19th century provided access to the Tower subway, an early, short-lived cable railway, which once transported passengers beneath the Thames.
Okay, just stop it. What?
Yeah.
What?
The Tower Subway.
You guys got so many things. We'll never figure this out. We could be here for 10 more years.
Now I want to see more about this Tower Subway thing.
Yeah, me too.
There's so
1870.
many things, and I'm like, well, we need to.
Short-lived,
Why
but
not?
still. What?
And that looks kind of scary.
I would not do
A
that.
little cable thing that just runs underneath the side.
That's just crazy.
pull the
There's
cable.
too many hidden little things.
I know.
That's just London.
So many little pockets of information.
Pockets of information.
Yes.
Why does that rub me the wrong way?
I have no idea.
Where does that term come from? Rub me the wrong way. And of what source you think that is? You know?
Mm.
Comment below.
Many
Let us
sources.
know. Rub me the wrong way. Definitely a man coined that one. Comment politely. Cheeky.
The word subway is another piece of vocabulary which was first recorded in London. It was
course
conceived
it
by
is.
a man
Makes
named
sense.
John Williams, who lived on Cornhill. In its earliest form, subway didn't refer to rail transport. John Williams was looking for a way to better facilitate the maintenance of pipes and other similar subterranean facilities,
That's a cool
and so
picture.
proposed constructing a series of access passageways, or as he dubbed them, subways, beneath the city streets.
I see it right there.
As part of his plan, he published a booklet in 1822 entitled An Historical Account of Subways in the British Metropolis for the Flow of Pure Water and Gas, which is believed to be the first appearance of the term.
Well done.
Today, of course, we do indeed have pedestrian subways, and the term is also widely used to describe various metro systems throughout the world, most
Mhm.
notably the New York City subway.
Yep.
It's
Thought I saw
rather
American flags.
curious
I got
then
confused.
that, despite London being the first city in the world to both build underground railways and coin the term subway, Londoners have never actually used that term to describe
Yeah.
their own system.
That's interesting.
Mhm. That
No.
is.
Instead, we chose to call it the tube.
Mind the gap. That was so much fun.
That was. There were so many things in
There's
there.
a lot of education in this video.
So many more things and ideas to look at.
That and just so that's true. It was I didn't expect to learn so many new phrases for
Mhm.
us, which I'm going to try to use.
Fun. Kind of like
Debbie's gonna be like, what?
poetry before sausage.
Patrons know. You stole that from me. That was mine. No, but that was a lot of fun. Rob's London has some really great videos. Again, guys, please go to the link in the description of our video and subscribe to his channel. You'll love his stuff. You will love his stuff. And again, he's a really nice guy, such a super nice guy. And thank you, Robert. That was a lot of fun because there was so much information in there. Phrases we didn't know, words we did, of course, and then quite a few. I think more we didn't know. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, definitely. Quite a few that we didn't know. And it's great to find out the origin of these.
And seeing stuff too. Like, I don't know what that building was that I was obsessed with there.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
I think that's what they said. I would like to know more information about that.
You know, even though subways originated in London, you guys don't call it Subway?
Yeah, double-crossed.
Yes, that
and
was
we're going to
amazing.
feel very double-crossed if you guys don't hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. That was good?
That's right, so don't double cross us. Tap the like button.
Be as bold as brass. I don't know. I keep throwing that one out there.
You do.
It's stuck in my head.
You have that one.
If you have brass balls, hit that like button. I swear that one came from him. It had to have.
It probably did.
It probably just came from brass, the metal.
Maybe.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Natasha and Debbie Show, and we'll see you back on the next one. Hopefully, if you're there. And until then, and as always, please love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.